Aurora.
The dawn in the early morning.
Aurora.
The dawn in the early morning.
Bungalow.
A type of house with a sloppy roof.
Bungalow.
A type of house with a sloppy roof.
Shortorant.
Light reflecting in a gemstone.
Shortorant.
Light reflecting in a gemstone.
Demure.
Reserved, modest, shy.
Demure.
Reserved, modest, shy.
Denouement.
Resolution of a narrative.
Denouement.
Resolution of a narrative.
Effervescent.
Lively, full of energy, bubbly.
Effervescent.
Lively, full of energy, bubbly.
Elegance.
High quality of style and class.
Elegance.
High quality of style and class.
Elixir.
A magical potion.
Elixir.
A magical potion.
Eloquence.
Ability to beautifully express oneself.
Eloquence.
Ability to beautifully express oneself.
Ephemeral.
Short-lived.
Ephemeral.
Short-lived.
Epiphany.
A life-changing realization.
Epiphany.
A life-changing realization.
Eternity.
A limitless amount of time.
Eternity.
A limitless amount of time.
Ethereal.
Heavenly, not from this planet.
Ethereal.
Heavenly, not from this planet.
Eudaimonia.
The state of being lucky.
Eudaimonia.
The state of being lucky.
Euphoria.
A state of extreme happiness.
Euphoria.
A state of extreme happiness.
Extravagance.
Excessive elaboration or lack of restraint in spending money.
Extravagance.
Excessive elaboration or lack of restraint in spending money.
Felicity.
Happiness.
Felicity.
Happiness.
Idyllic.
Picturesque, beautiful, almost fairytale-like.
Idyllic.
Picturesque, beautiful, almost fairytale-like.
Incandescent.
Emitting light as a result of being heated.
Incandescent.
Emitting light as a result of being heated.
Incendiary.
Very hot or inflammatory.
Incendiary.
Very hot or inflammatory.
Ineffable.
Difficult to accurately describe.
Ineffable.
Difficult to accurately describe.
Infatuation.
A really strong desire to be close to someone, mostly romantically.
Infatuation.
A really strong desire to be close to someone, mostly romantically.
Labyrinth.
A complex set of passageways.
Labyrinth.
A complex set of passageways.
Lagoon.
A body of water.
Lagoon.
A body of water.
Lithe.
Slim and full of grace.
Lithe.
Slim and full of grace.
Love.
A beautiful feeling of affection.
Love.
A beautiful feeling of affection.
Lullaby.
A melody that mothers sing to their babies to get them to sleep.
Lullaby.
A melody that mothers sing to their babies to get them to sleep.
Luminescence.
Light produced by electric, chemical, or physiological means.
Luminescence.
Light produced by electric, chemical, or physiological means.
Lyrical.
Beautifully said.
Lyrical.
Beautifully said.
Melancholy.
A feeling of pensive sadness.
Melancholy.
A feeling of pensive sadness.
Mellifluous.
Beautifully sounding.
Mellifluous.
Beautifully sounding.
Miraculous.
Something that is a miracle.
Miraculous.
Something that is a miracle.
Nefarious.
Wicked, evil.
Nefarious.
Wicked, evil.
Nemesis.
A rival, an archenemy.
Nemesis.
A rival, an archenemy.
Oblivion.
A state of unawareness of what's going on around you.
Oblivion.
A state of unawareness of what's going on around you.
Onomatopoeia.
Something that uses the sounds it makes to form its name.
Onomatopoeia.
Something that uses the sounds it makes to form its name.
Opulence.
Luxury, abundance.
Opulence.
Luxury, abundance.
Paradox.
Something that contradicts itself.
Paradox.
Something that contradicts itself.
Peace.
A state of freedom in the mind.
Peace.
A state of freedom in the mind.
Picturesque.
Visually pleasing, beautifully looking, for example a landscape.
Picturesque.
Visually pleasing, beautifully looking, for example a landscape.
Plethora.
An abundance of something.
Plethora.
An abundance of something.
Pristine.
Extremely clean.
Pristine.
Extremely clean.
Propinquity.
Another word for proximity.
Propinquity.
Another word for proximity.
Quintessence.
The most perfect example.
Quintessence.
The most perfect example.
Rainbow.
An arch of colors in the sky.
Rainbow.
An arch of colors in the sky.
Renaissance.
The period between the 14th and 17th centuries.
Renaissance.
The period between the 14th and 17th centuries.
Ripple.
A small movement or wave.
Ripple.
A small movement or wave.
Sanguine.
Optimistic and positive.
Sanguine.
Optimistic and positive.
Scintilla.
A trace or spark of something.
Scintilla.
A trace or spark of something.
Sequoia.
A type of tree.
Sequoia.
A type of tree.
Serendipity.
A chain of events that occurs in a favorable way.
Serendipity.
A chain of events that occurs in a favorable way.
Sibilant.
Making a hissing sound.
Sibilant.
Making a hissing sound.
Silhouette.
An outline of a figure.
Silhouette.
An outline of a figure.
Solitude.
A state of isolation or loneliness.
Solitude.
A state of isolation or loneliness.
Sonorous.
A deep and full sound.
Sonorous.
A deep and full sound.
Sumptuous.
Rich, luxurious.
Sumptuous.
Rich, luxurious.
Surreptitious.
Clandestine.
Surreptitious.
Clandestine.
Syzygy.
An alignment of three celestial bodies.
Syzygy.
An alignment of three celestial bodies.
To cherish.
To care about something and cultivate it with affection.
To cherish.
To care about something and cultivate it with affection.
Tranquility.
Another word for peace.
Tranquility.
Another word for peace.
Umbrella.
The thing you hold to protect yourself from the rain.
Umbrella.
The thing you hold to protect yourself from the rain.
Wanderlust.
A strong desire to travel.
Wanderlust.
A strong desire to travel.
Wherewithal.
Strength and tenacity.
Wherewithal.
Strength and tenacity.
Wistfulness.
Yearning or desire.
Wistfulness.
Yearning or desire.
Zenith.
The highest, most successful point of a situation.
Zenith.
The highest, most successful point of a situation.
Argle-bargle.
Meaningless chatter or written words.
Argle-bargle.
Meaningless chatter or written words.
Bodacious.
Attractive, with a curvy body.
Bodacious.
Attractive, with a curvy body.
Brouhaha.
An overexcited reaction to something, usually a conflict or commotion.
Brouhaha.
An overexcited reaction to something, usually a conflict or commotion.
Bumbershoot.
Just a cool word for umbrella.
Bumbershoot.
Just a cool word for umbrella.
Bumfuzzled.
Very confused.
Bumfuzzled.
Very confused.
Bumfluff.
The first beard grown by an adolescent.
Bumfluff.
The first beard grown by an adolescent.
Cattywampus.
Something that is askew or isn't directly in front of something.
Cattywampus.
Something that is askew or isn't directly in front of something.
Collywobbles.
A weird feeling in your stomach.
Collywobbles.
A weird feeling in your stomach.
Cromulent.
Acceptable or adequate.
Cromulent.
Acceptable or adequate.
Fantascini.
Fancy or ostentatious.
Fantascini.
Fancy or ostentatious.
Flabbergasted.
To be shocked or surprised by something.
Flabbergasted.
To be shocked or surprised by something.
Flawsome.
A person who accepts their flaws and is awesome regardless.
Flawsome.
A person who accepts their flaws and is awesome regardless.
Flibberty-gibbet.
Someone who can't stop talking. Usually silly things.
Flibberty-gibbet.
Someone who can't stop talking. Usually silly things.
Funambulist.
A tightrope walker.
Funambulist.
A tightrope walker.
Gibberish.
Meaningless words.
Gibberish.
Meaningless words.
Gobbledygook.
Incomprehensible or meaningless language.
Gobbledygook.
Incomprehensible or meaningless language.
Whosko.
Jail.
Whosko.
Jail.
Hullabaloo.
An unpleasant uproar.
Hullabaloo.
An unpleasant uproar.
Inkling.
A slight suspicion.
Inkling.
A slight suspicion.
Cacaraphiophobia.
Fear of failure.
Cacaraphiophobia.
Fear of failure.
Kerfuffle.
A commotion, a conflict, a fuss.
Kerfuffle.
A commotion, a conflict, a fuss.
Lackadaisical.
Lacking enthusiasm, very lazy.
Lackadaisical.
Lacking enthusiasm, very lazy.
Lollygag.
To procrastinate, to spend time aimlessly.
Lollygag.
To procrastinate, to spend time aimlessly.
Mollycoddle.
To treat someone in a very indulgent way.
Mollycoddle.
To treat someone in a very indulgent way.
Nudiastertion.
The day before yesterday.
Nudiastertion.
The day before yesterday.
Peripatetic.
A nomad, someone who travels from place to place.
Peripatetic.
A nomad, someone who travels from place to place.
Ragamuffin.
A person who wears scrappy clothes.
Ragamuffin.
A person who wears scrappy clothes.
Sozzled.
Very drunk.
Sozzled.
Very drunk.
Taradiddle.
British word for a petty lie.
Taradiddle.
British word for a petty lie.
Titinope.
A small amount of leftovers.
Titinope.
A small amount of leftovers.
Wassail.
Mulled wine.
Wassail.
Mulled wine.
Whippersnapper.
A confident and cheeky person.
Whippersnapper.
A confident and cheeky person.
Winklepicker.
A shoe with a sharp pointed toe.
Winklepicker.
A shoe with a sharp pointed toe.
Woebegone.
Looking sad.
Woebegone.
Looking sad.
BAE.
A romantic partner, baby in a romantic context.
BAE.
A romantic partner, baby in a romantic context.
Extra.
Excessive, over the top.
Extra.
Excessive, over the top.
Flex.
To show off.
Flex.
To show off.
Go someone.
To stop talking to someone abruptly and without explanation.
Go someone.
To stop talking to someone abruptly and without explanation.
Hangry.
When someone is angry because they are hungry, they are hangry.
Hangry.
When someone is angry because they are hungry, they are hangry.
I'm dead.
They're not actually dead, they're just dying of laughter.
I'm dead.
They're not actually dead, they're just dying of laughter.
Lit.
Cool, fun.
Lit.
Cool, fun.
Low key.
Secretly.
Low key.
Secretly.
Mood.
Used to reaffirm something that is relatable.
Mood.
Used to reaffirm something that is relatable.
No cap.
No lie, for real.
No cap.
No lie, for real.
Salty.
Angry over something minor.
Salty.
Angry over something minor.
Shook.
Shocked.
Shook.
Shocked.
Slay.
To do an excellent job at something or to look amazing.
Slay.
To do an excellent job at something or to look amazing.
Spill the tea.
To gossip.
Spill the tea.
To gossip.
Yeet.
An expression of excitement.
Yeet.
An expression of excitement.
A bibliophobia.
A phobia of running out of things to read.
A bibliophobia.
A phobia of running out of things to read.
A catalectic.
Having a full number of syllables.
A catalectic.
Having a full number of syllables.
Aesthete.
Someone sensitive to the beauty of art.
Aesthete.
Someone sensitive to the beauty of art.
A Europhile.
A person who loves cats.
A Europhile.
A person who loves cats.
Angst.
A state of deep anxiety, usually related to existential matters.
Angst.
A state of deep anxiety, usually related to existential matters.
Apricity.
The warm rays of sun in the winter.
Apricity.
The warm rays of sun in the winter.
Berserk.
Going crazy with anger.
Berserk.
Going crazy with anger.
Borborygmus.
The sound your stomach makes when you're hungry.
Borborygmus.
The sound your stomach makes when you're hungry.
Cacophony.
A noise made out of terrible sounds.
Cacophony.
A noise made out of terrible sounds.
Clinomania.
An obsessive desire to stay in bed.
Clinomania.
An obsessive desire to stay in bed.
Conundrum.
A difficult problem to solve.
Conundrum.
A difficult problem to solve.
Defenestration.
Throwing someone out of the window.
Defenestration.
Throwing someone out of the window.
Discombobulated.
Confused.
Discombobulated.
Confused.
Epilatory.
Admiration of words.
Epilatory.
Admiration of words.
Erinaceous.
Something, or someone, that looks like a hedgehog.
Erinaceous.
Something, or someone, that looks like a hedgehog.
Euphony.
The pleasantness of the word sound.
Euphony.
The pleasantness of the word sound.
Heliophilia.
Love of the sun, a desire to stay in the sun.
Heliophilia.
Love of the sun, a desire to stay in the sun.
Iridescent.
Producing a display of rainbow-like colors.
Iridescent.
Producing a display of rainbow-like colors.
Gentacular.
Anything related to breakfast is gentacular.
Gentacular.
Anything related to breakfast is gentacular.
Lamprophony.
The act of speaking loudly.
Lamprophony.
The act of speaking loudly.
Languor.
Lethargy, weakness of body and mind.
Languor.
Lethargy, weakness of body and mind.
Lassitude.
A state of physical or mental lack of energy, tiredness.
Lassitude.
A state of physical or mental lack of energy, tiredness.
Limerence.
A state of being infatuated with another person.
Limerence.
A state of being infatuated with another person.
Logophile.
A person who loves words.
Logophile.
A person who loves words.
Macrosmatic.
Having a good sense of smell.
Macrosmatic.
Having a good sense of smell.
Mixologist.
A person who mixes drinks.
Mixologist.
A person who mixes drinks.
Mondgreen.
Incorrectly hearing or interpreting a song's lyrics.
Mondgreen.
Incorrectly hearing or interpreting a song's lyrics.
Nadir.
The lowest point in a situation.
Nadir.
The lowest point in a situation.
Panacea.
A remedy or solution that could fix any problem.
Panacea.
A remedy or solution that could fix any problem.
Porciloquent.
Someone who says very little.
Porciloquent.
Someone who says very little.
Petrichor.
The smell of earth after the rain.
Petrichor.
The smell of earth after the rain.
Pluviophile.
Someone who loves rain.
Pluviophile.
Someone who loves rain.
Raconteur.
Someone who's very good at telling stories.
Raconteur.
Someone who's very good at telling stories.
Somnambulist.
A person who sleepwalks.
Somnambulist.
A person who sleepwalks.
Sonder.
The realization that each passerby has a life full of experiences, emotions, and problems, just like you.
Sonder.
The realization that each passerby has a life full of experiences, emotions, and problems, just like you.
Supine.
Lying on one's back, facing upwards.
Supine.
Lying on one's back, facing upwards.